Hello and happy Monday, everyone. I hope everybody's doing good. Hey, Margaret. I think I'd like to welcome you back to another Mystery Card Monday. And I think the only mystery that's happening in this house lately is my time management. Oh my goodness, if it wasn't for talking to my daughter tonight, I would have 7 o'clock would have come and gone, and I wouldn't even have remembered. That's what happened to me yesterday with my simple Saturday, stepped up Sunday. I had everything prepared. I and I mean it's all ready to go. I had my little basket for yesterday. See, here's my basket with my cards up and my ribbon. I have it marked Simple Saturday, so I know that that's what I was going to use. And the time came and went, and I simply forgot, hey, do all about it. So let's do tonight's card. I am using Tahitian Tide and Basic White, and I am using the, let me just pull it here so we can see which it is. It is the 2022-2024 in color 6x6 designer series paper. That's what I decided to use. All right, so for our card base in the first clue, it's 8.5 by 5.5, and you were to score it at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. Okay. Then, in the same color, card base color, so I have my Tahitian Tide. Sorry, I was picking something up off the floor. We have two pieces that measure 5 1/8 by 1 3/4. Then I have another piece in the same color. That's the card base. And this one is 3 5/8 by 1 5/8. And then for the inside of the card, I have a piece that is 5 1/4 by 4. For your second color that coordinates with your card base, we have two pieces, and I'm using Basic White. That measures 5 1/4 by 1 7/8. I have another piece that's 3 1/2 by 1 1/2. And then the inside, 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. I have one more piece of the Tahitian Tide. So this is the card base color. And this is measuring 5 1/4 by about 3/4. Then we needed some designer series paper. Hey, Ruth. And you were supposed to cut 4 pieces at 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. Now, of course, we could use either side. We could use the plaid, or I could use the polka dots. I think I'm going to use the plaid. And then I have another piece for the inside, and this measures 1/2, and it's 4 1/2. I just cut pieces because I'm going to trim it for the inside. I picked my Tahitian Tide stamp pad, and I grabbed the Biggest Wish stamp set, okay? Because you wanted to have a sentiment and or image that you can add to this that'll fit this piece. And this was the 3.5 by 1.5 inch piece. Okay, so let's get started. What the heck can this card look like? So we're going to take our card base first thing, and you're going to score it 2 1/8, 6 3/8, and then we are going to fold and burnish these ends. Just want to make sure it's even. You do know that sometimes, hey Karen, I remembered today. Sometimes our 8.5 by 11 is just a tiny bit larger than the 8.5 by 11. So sometimes you may want to check that, because if you're scoring, it's going to be off, just like this is. So it must be off by just a hair. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I am going to grab our larger pieces. And again, this is Tahitian Tide. And I'm going to do my basic white is the larger one. And we are going to adhere our 1 3/4 by 5 1/8 to our 5 1/4 by 1 3/4. 1 3/4. 1 7/8. I'm sorry. So these are going to be adhered together. Let me grab my glue. So, hey Sheila, how's everybody doing today? It is quite warm out today. And this is going to be a crazy week, just so everybody knows. First, the 21st of June. Today is what? The 19th. Tomorrow is Tuesday. So Wednesday, Stampin' Up! Is offering free shipping. I think I posted the announcement in the group. So just so you know, free shipping is, whoops, I knew that was going to happen. That free shipping is pretty big, because sometimes your shipping can really, bring your total up. So if there's anything you need, free shipping day, especially for anything heavy, right? Cardstock, all that stuff that adds to the weight of the package. Now's a good time to purchase that. All right, we're going to do the second one. I'm just going to use up this glue that splattered all over the place. If it doesn't come out, then it comes out too darn quick. All right, so we're going to layer this up. Just going to pick it up so I can scoot it over just a hair. All right, so here are our two pieces. Next, we can grab our card base, and we are going to adhere these two pieces to the front of our card. And I'm going to adhere it with glue. You can pop it up if you want. I'm just going to adhere it down. And we want to center it on this front panel. And then we're going to do the same with the other side. I'm just going to close this up so I can at least get it where it looks like it's even with the other panel. Because with the white, you'll really notice if it's off. And I think that looks pretty good. All right. So there is the front so far. Next, let's grab our piece that is 3 5/8 by 1 5/8 and our basic white piece that is 3 1/2 by 1 1/2. All right. And this is the one we are going to stamp either your image. You can stamp an image and a sentiment. I am going to grab the thanks stamp. Let me just get a larger block here. And I'm just going to quick clean this off. Looks like I used it with black. So I want to just make sure it's clean. And I am going to stamp my sentiment right here on this piece. I'm going to test it out first. All right. Sometimes the ink pads are so full of ink. So I want to get this pretty well centered. And see, it did act really weird. I'm going to turn it over and try it on this side. Like I said, sometimes when the ink pad is really juicy, you get such a crappy image. And I think I'm going to grab a foam mat to help out. So what I like to do is I like to take a spoon, and let me get a clean one. I guess I forgot to wipe that one off. And I like to just pull the ink down and away. Okay, so now it'll pool down here instead of, and I don't have a tissue in here, instead of the whole ink pad. And then I'll ink it up in the center there. And let's try this again. And that looks a little better. Hey, Nan, how are you? All right. Now we can add things to this if we like. And I think, let's see if I have I'm going to grab Earthen Texture. And what would go with our Tahitian Tide? I think I'll grab some Misty Moonlight. Will that go? Let's see. Only one way to tell, right? Let's stamp some. And then we'll use this. Just want to see. That's not bad. Okay, we'll do the Misty Moonlight. Now, I just grabbed a stamp from the Earthen Textures stamp set, and it's this one right here. I could have actually used one of those sentiments, and I'm just going to add some greenery. It'll be Misty Moonlight, and I'm going to stamp it off and then stamp it on, and I'm going to do it from this side just to take up some of that white space. And then I'm going to grab some classic matte dots. And, whoops, my dark Tahitian Tide. And I'm just going to color 3 of these little dots. All right, so while that is drying, because I know I'm going to pick them up and they're going to still be wet, I'm going to grab some seal and we're going to adhere this sentiment right here. Okay, so there is our sentiment. So while that's drying, the matte dots are drying, let's pull in our card base again. And we're going to pull in our little 1.5 by 1.5 designer series paper. Now, like I said, I can use it with the plaid. Hey, Mike. Or we could use it with the dots. And I'm going to keep the plaid up. So we're going to add some glue to these little squares. And I'm going to stick it right up here. And you want to try to get it where it's pretty much the same amount of space all the way around. All right. Now that I have this one here, I'm going to add some glue to my second one. And I'm going to try to line this up as best I can right there on the top. Just going to scoot that up just a tad. All right, so now we have our 2 squares there. She's a crazy girl. All right, let's take square number 3. Now, you could put it here. I'm going to put mine down at the bottom. And again, try to line it up with the square on the top. Got glue. And then one more. So this last one, I want to line it up with this one and the one on the top. So let's just, we're going to scoot this down just a hair. And I think that's good. All right. So there's our squares. Now we're going to grab our sentiment. And this is going to go right here in the center. And you're going to get it in between your squares. And you can decide if you want it to open this way. Okay. With the sentiment adhered to the right side, or if you want it adhered to the left side. And I'm going to adhere mine to the left side. And you want to make sure that you don't put too much glue so it hits both gates. You just want it on either or. Let this dry for a second, and you want to at least get it pretty even between the top squares. Now I can grab my little milky dots that we colored. Let's put it right here. Now we can jump on into the inside. Here's our matte layer and our basic white layer. Now I'm going to lay this across the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some glue to the white card base, put on my Tahitian tie, hold it up and push it down so it's nice and flush with the end. And then grab some adhesive again and my designer series paper, and I'm going to do the same thing. I want to get it centered. I'm just going to lift it up and push it down. I'm just going to scoot this up a hair and make sure it's flush with the end, which it seems to be. And then I'm just going to grab my little cutter and line it up right at the blade, this white right at the blade, and we can cut those ends off. Okay, so we want to adhere our basic white to our matte layer. And I'm going to do it with some seal. And layer this together. Now we can put it on the inside of our card. So nice and quick and easy. All right? And believe it or not, I did do a second one. This one is in Pebbled Path, Misty Moonlight. And this is the Earth and Textures. I think that's what it's called. Let me just check. Yep, Earth and Elegance Designer Series paper. And these are two of the die cuts from the Earth and Textures. And here's the same little sprigs that I used from the Earth and Textures stamp set. And the sentiment is from this set. Oh, you know what? Right here, Ruth. I'll tell you where in a second. And then here's the inside. Believe it or not, I was going to, and I forgot, which is not anything new. I was going to wrap this with a piece of twine and tie my bow on the inside. See, I have it sitting right here. And I just forgot all about it. But there's nothing new there. It's been, again, one of those months. And it's still going to keep going on. All right. So there we go. Two completely different looks. And actually the same exact design and pattern. So well, that's I'm glad. I should go back in and erase the twine, right? So here are our cards. Post your cards into the mystery group by Friday night, and I will pick a winner. Everybody's prizes are out in the mail, and this is going to be a crazy week. I'll be on Thursday night. I will, let's see, I'll do a Friday with my, thank you, with my Fun Fold Friday, and then Sunday will be no video, and probably no video on Monday because my granddaughter is graduating and I'm going to her party. Thanks, Nan. Thanks, Margaret. So I'll keep you updated, and I will see you Thursday night. Don't forget about free shipping Wednesday. You're welcome, Ruth. Thank you. Yes, Fun Fold at 11. So I'll see everybody here at 11 o'clock on Friday and 7 for Thursdays. Have a great night. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.